There is immense power in silence. In a world filled with noise, chatter, and distractions, silence becomes the ultimate strength. To be silent is not merely to refrain from speaking, but to step into a realm where you can truly hear your soul. Silence is where you align with the divine and become receptive to the whisper of creation. It is in the stillness that transformation occurs, and in solitude, we access the infinite within us. When you cut contact with the external, you grant yourself the gift of rediscovering your essence. The constant connections we maintain often anchor us to old stories, to identities that no longer serve us, and to energies that dilute our power. By serving these ties, you liberate yourself from the limitations imposed by the opinions and expectations of others. You begin to realize that everything you seek resides not in the external world, but within you. In silence, clarity arises. The mental fog created by the endless noise of the world dissipates, and the mind becomes still, like a calm lake reflecting the vast sky. You start to see yourself as you truly are, not as the world has shaped you to be. This clarity allows you to focus on what truly matters, to align with your deepest desires, and to manifest them effortlessly. Cutting contact is not an act of rejection or avoidance. It is an act of self-preservation. It is a sacred withdrawal to recharge, to realign, and to reconnect with your divine purpose. The moments of solitude you carve out for yourself are not acts of isolation, but profound declarations of self-love. You are choosing to honor your inner being, to protect your energy, and to cultivate the garden of your mind. Silence is where faith is born. In the absence of external validation, you learn to trust in the unseen, to believe in the power of your imagination, and to hold steadfast to your vision. In this sacred quietude, your inner world becomes a sanctuary, a place where your dreams take root and begin to flourish. You realize that you are the architect of your reality, and silence is the blueprint through which you design the life you desire. When you step into silence and detach from the external, you become unshakable. You no longer depend on the fleeting approval of others, nor do you sway in the face of adversity. Instead, you stand firm, rooted in the truth of who you are and the certainty of your purpose. This quiet strength is a beacon of light, guiding you through the storms of life and illuminating the path to your highest self. Silence is not an escape, it is an empowerment. It is not a void, but a fullness, a space where you commune with the divine and harness the infinite power within you. By embracing silence and cutting all contacts, you ascend beyond the noise of the world and into the profound stillness where miracles are born. The power of silence cannot be overstated. It is not a passive act, but an intentional and dynamic state of being. To withdraw from the external noise is to reclaim the energy you have unknowingly dispersed. It is to recognize that your thoughts and emotions are sacred, and they deserve a space where they can be nurtured and refined without interference. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the presence of depth, where you meet the divine within. When you cut all contacts, you are not severing ties out of anger or resentment, but stepping into a space of higher understanding. The relationships and Connections that once defined you begin to reveal their true purpose. Some were meant to teach you lessons, others to challenge your growth, and some to mirror your own inner conflicts. But when their purpose has been fulfilled, clinging to them becomes a burden. By releasing them, you free both yourself and others from the chains of dependency and allow each soul to journey forward on its own path. In this silence, you find the courage to face yourself. This is not always an easy task. The world often keeps us busy, distracted, and entangled so that we avoid the raw truths that dwell within us. Yet it is in this confrontation that transformation occurs. You begin to unravel the layers of conditioning, fear, and doubt that have obscured your true essence. You discover the strength to forgive yourself for past mistakes, to release guilt, and to embrace the infinite potential that lies dormant within you. Silence becomes your teacher. It reveals to you the patterns of your mind, the rhythm of your thoughts, and the emotions that guide your actions. In the quiet, you observe without judgment, gaining insight into the forces that shape your reality. This awareness is a powerful gift. It enables you to choose your thoughts with intention, to release those that do not serve you, and to cultivate those that align with your highest vision. As you remain silent, the need for external validation diminishes. The opinions, judgments, and expectations of others lose their grip on you. You begin to understand that their perceptions are reflections of their own inner worlds and have little to do with your truth. In this newfound freedom, you no longer feel compelled to explain yourself, to justify your choices, or to seek approval. You stand firm in your authenticity, guided by an inner compass that leads you toward your highest good. Cutting or contacts allows you to recalibrate your energy. The relationships and interactions you maintain require an exchange of energy. And not all exchanges are equal. Some connections uplift and inspire you, while others drain and defeat you. By stepping away, you gain the clarity to discern which relationships are worth nurturing and which are not. You learn to prioritize your well-being, to set boundaries, and to protect your energy as a sacred resource. In this silence, you become attuned to the voice of intuition. It is a soft and subtle whisper that is often drowned out by the noise of the world. Yet this voice is your truest guide, leading you toward your purpose with unwavering precision. As you listen, you begin to trust its wisdom, to act on its guidance, and to witness the synchronicities that unfold when you align with your divine path. The act of silence and detachment is a declaration of faith. It is an affirmation that you believe in the power of the unseen, that you trust in the unfolding of divine timing, and that you are willing to surrender control to a higher power. In this surrender, you find peace. You release the need to force outcomes, to chase after what is not meant for you, and to resist the flow of life. Instead, you align with the natural rhythm of the universe, allowing its abundance to flow to you effortlessly. The world often mistakes silence for weakness, but those who have experienced it know that it is the ultimate strength. To be silent is to be unshakable in your resolve, to hold your ground in the face of adversity, and to remain calm amidst chaos. It is the strength of knowing that your Worth is not determined by the noise around you, but by the infinite power within you. When you cut all contacts, you give yourself the gift of solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the joy of being with yourself. It is a space where you can dream without limits, create without judgment, and love without conditions. It is where you reconnect with the divine spark that resides within you and remember that you are a creator of your reality. In silence, you begin to understand the law of assumption. What you assume to be true in your inner world becomes your outer reality. The silence allows you to cultivate thoughts of abundance, joy, and love, planting seeds that will bloom into a life beyond your imagination. You realize that your inner state is the foundation of your external experiences, and that by mastering your mind, you muster your life. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means freedom. It is the ability to engage with the world without being entangled by it. It is to love without attachment, to give without expectation, and to live without fear. In this state, you experience the fullness of life without being weighed down by its burdens. You move through the world with grace, knowing that nothing external can define or diminish you. Silence is a space of creation. It is where you connect with the infinite possibilities of the universe and bring them into form through the power of imagination. In this stillness, you see your dreams as already realized, feeling the joy and gratitude of their fulfillment. This act of creation is not a struggle, but a joyful expression of your divine nature. As you continue in silence, you notice the world shifting around you. Relationships that no longer serve you fade away. Opportunities aligned with your purpose appear, and your external reality begins to reflect the inner transformation you have undergone. This is not coincidence, but the result of aligning with the divine order of the universe. To embrace silence and cut all contacts is to step into your power. It is to claim your birthright as a creator, to honor the divinity within you, and to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. It is not a retreat, but an ascension, a journey toward the highest version of yourself. This expanded speech maintains the original tone and integrates deeper reflections on the transformative power of silence and detachment, ensuring it aligns with your requested style that silence teaches you the art of being. In a world where doing is glorified and being is neglected, silence becomes a radical act. It reminds you that your worth is not tied to your achievements or possessions, but is inherent in your existence. To simply be is to honor the life force within you, to embrace yourself as you are, and to find peace in the present moment. In this state, you are no longer striving or chasing, you are allowing and receiving. The act of cutting all contacts goes beyond physical disconnection. It is an emotional and spiritual disentanglement from everything that does not serve your highest good. It is a decision to release attachments to the past, to let go of resentment, and to free yourself from the chains of guilt and shame. As you do this, you create space within yourself for healing growth and renewal. You begin to feel lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true self. In silence, you rediscover your innate power, the power that does not rely on external forces or circumstances, but arises from within. It is a power rooted in faith, imagination, and the unwavering belief in your ability to create the life you desire. This power is unshakable because it is not dependent on the opinions of others or the fluctuations of the external world. It is yours, and no one can take it from you. The world often equates silence with passivity, but nothing could be further from the truth. Silence is an active process of tuning in to the divine. It is where your prayers are heard, your visions are clarified, and your intentions are amplified. In this sacred stillness, you align with the creative forces of the universe, becoming a co-creator of your reality. You realize that the most profound actions often arise from the quietest moments of reflection and connection. When you choose to cut all contacts, you are not abandoning others, you are choosing yourself. You are making a conscious decision to prioritize your well-being, your growth, and your journey. This is not selfishness, but self-love. It is an acknowledgement that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that to give your best to others, you must first give your best to yourself. Silence is also where you find answers. The questions that have plagued your mind, the doubts that have lingered in your heart, and the uncertainties that have clouded your vision, all find resolution in the stillness. The divine speaks to you in whispers, not shouts, and it is only in silence that you can hear its guidance. As you listen, you begin to see the signs, the synchronicities, and the subtle nudges that lead you toward your destiny. This journey into silence is not without its challenges. The initial withdrawal from the world can feel uncomfortable, even painful. The mind accustomed to noise and activity may resist the stillness. But as you persevere, you begin to experience a profound shift. The discomfort fades, replaced by a sense of peace and clarity. The silence once daunting becomes a sanctuary, a place where you feel safe, supported, and whole. In this space, you come face to face with your fears. The fear of being alone, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough all rise to the surface. But rather than running from them, you confront them with courage and compassion. You realize that these fears are not real. They are illusions created by the mind. And as you see through them, they lose their power over you. Silence allows you to cultivate gratitude. In the absence of distractions, you become acutely aware of the blessings in your life. You notice the beauty of a sunrise, the warmth of a smile, the miracle of your breath. This gratitude is not a fleeting emotion, but a profound state of being. It shifts your perspective, elevating your vibration and opening your heart to receive even more abundance. As you continue in silence, you develop a deeper connection with yourself. You begin to understand your desires, your strengths, and your purpose on a level that was previously inaccessible. This self-awareness empowers you to make choices that align with your truth, to say no to what does not serve you, and to say yes to what lights up your soul. Cutting all contacts is also an act of faith. It is a statement to the universe that you trust in its plan for you. You trust that the relationships meant for you will endure, that the opportunities aligned with your purpose will find you, and that the life you desire is already on its way. This faith is not blind, but rooted in the knowing that you are supported, guided, and loved by a higher power. Silence becomes your refuge in times of struggle. When the storms of life rage around you, it is in silence that you find your anchor. You do not need to fight the storm or resist its force. You simply need to be still. In this stillness, you find the strength to weather the challenges, the wisdom to navigate them, and the peace to rise above them. Through silence, you learn the art of surrender. Surrender is not giving up, but letting go of the need to control. It is trusting that everything is unfolding for your highest good, even when it does not seem that way. This surrender brings a profound sense of relief and liberation. You no longer carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, but instead, you allow the divine to carry you. The more you immerse yourself in silence, the more you realize its power. It is a power that transcends words, actions, and appearances. It is the power of presence, of being fully here and now. In this presence, you discover the infinite within you, the boundless love, joy, and peace that are your true nature. Cutting all contacts is not an end, but a beginning. It is the start of a journey back to yourself, back to the source, back to the divine. It is a journey of liberation, transformation, and awakening. And as you walk this path, you find that the silence you once feared has become your greatest ally, your most profound teacher, and your deepest truth. This completes the speech with the requested depth and style, staying within the theme and tone of the original request. The silence you cultivate is not merely the absence of sound, it becomes the resonance of truth within you. It begins to echo with clarity, stripping away the lies you may have told yourself to fit into a world that thrives on conformity. In the quiet, you start to see yourself as you are, unmasked, unburdened, and unafraid. This confrontation with your essence might initially feel unsettling, but it is here that transformation begins. It is in the silence that you shed the layers of identity imposed upon you by the expectations of others, revealing the light within. Cutting all contacts is an act of rebellion against a society that often prioritizes superficial connections over authentic self-expression. It is a bold declaration that you will no longer dilute yourself to fit into spaces where you are not valued or understood. This deliberate withdrawal is not a retreat, but an advance toward a deeper understanding of your worth. It is a commitment to creating relationships, if any, that are rooted in mutual respect, love, and truth. As you journey further into silence, a remarkable thing happens. The incessant chatter of the world begins to fade, and the voice of your inner wisdom grows louder. This voice has always been there, but it was drawn out by the noise of external opinions and distractions. Now it becomes your guide, gently leading you toward choices that align with your highest good. You start to trust yourself in a way you never have before. Your confidence is no longer dependent on external validation, but on the quiet assurance that you are walking in alignment with your purpose. The silence also brings with it a heightened sense of perception. You begin to notice things you previously overlooked, the nuances in nature, the subtleties in human interactions, and the profound interconnectedness of all things. This awareness deepens your appreciation for life and reminds you of the sacredness of every moment. You see that the universe is constantly communicating with you through signs, symbols, and synchronicities. And because you are silent, you are able to listen. This process of cutting all contacts does not mean you will never reconnect. But when and if you do, you will do so from a place of strength and clarity, not neediness or insecurity. The relationships you allow back into your life will be those that honor your growth and reflect your values. You will no longer feel compelled to explain or justify yourself to anyone, for you will have learned the profound truth that your worth is not up for negotiation. The silence becomes a portal to divine communion. In the stillness, you begin to feel the presences of something greater than yourself, or force that is at once within you and beyond you. You recognize that you are not separate from this force, but an expression of it. This realization fills you with an indescribable peace and a sense of belonging that no external relationship could ever provide. You are home, and home is within you. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage to face the silence and to let go of the distractions that have numbed you for so long. It requires faith to trust in a process that often feels uncertain and intangible, but the rewards are immeasurable. You emerge from this experience transformed with the deeper sense of who you are and what you are capable of. You carry with you a quiet power, a radiant authenticity, and an unshakable peace. The silence you cultivate becomes your most precious possession. It is not a void, but a space of infinite possibility. It is where you meet yourself, where you connect with the divine, and where you create the life you were meant to live. It is the foundation upon which you build a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. And it is the gift you carry with you always, no matter where you go or what you face. This continuation brings the speech closer to the 2,000-word goal, maintaining the original tone and message while adding depth and resonance to its themes. Let me know if you need further elaboration or additional content. Silence becomes your ultimate sanctuary. It is the place where you no longer feel the pressure to perform or conform, but can rest in the simple truth of your existence. This quiet space, untainted by the chaos of the world, nurtures a profound connection to your soul. In the absence of external voices, you hear your own, unfiltered and authentic. The more you lean into this silence, the more you recognize it is not just a temporary retreat, but as your natural state of being, a state that allows you to live with greater intention and awareness. As the silence deepens, the need for external validation diminishes. You no longer seek approval from others because you realize that the only validation you truly need comes from within. This inner assurance brings a sense of liberation that words cannot fully describe. You become untouchable by the opinions of others because their judgments lose their power over you. What remains is an unshakable knowing that you are enough, just as you are, without the need to prove your worth to anyone. Cutting all contacts amplifies this realization. It is an act of self-reclamation where you take back the energy you once dispersed among countless relationships. obligations, and distractions. This reclaimed energy becomes a reservoir of creative potential. It fuels your imagination, sharpens your focus, and empowers you to direct your life with purpose. You begin to understand that your time and energy are sacred, and you choose to invest them in ways that align with your vision and values. The silence also teaches you the art of patience. In a world that demands instant results and constant action, silence slows you down and reminds you of the natural rhythms of life. It shows you that everything unfolds in its own time, and that rushing the process only leads to unnecessary stress and disappointment. Patience, born from silence, allows you to trust in divine timing, knowing that what is meant for you will never miss you. Through silence, you develop an intimate relationship with your emotions. Without the noise of the external world, you can no longer ignore or suppress what you feel. Instead, you are invited to sit with your emotions, to understand them, and to let them flow through you without resistance. This emotional awareness becomes a powerful tool for healing and growth. You learn to embrace even the difficult emotions, recognizing them as teachers rather than threats. In doing so, you release the emotional baggage that has weighed you down and make room for joy, peace, and love. The process of cutting all contacts often brings clarity about your priorities. When you step away from the distractions and noise, you begin to see what truly matters to you. You realize that much of what you once thought was important status, possessions, superficial, relationships, holds little significance in the grand scheme of things. What emerges instead is a focus on what brings you genuine fulfillment, meaningful connections, creative expression, and a deep sense of purpose. This journey also strengthens your resilience. The silence and solitude may initially feel isolating, but they ultimately reveal your inner strength. You discover that you are far more capable than you ever imagined and that you can face challenges with grace and courage. This newfound resilience becomes a foundation upon which you can build a life that is not only fulfilling but also unshakable in the face of adversity. As you continue in this silence, a profound shift occurs in your perception of the world. You begin to see beauty and divinity in everything. The mundane becomes miraculous, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. This shift is not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. Your silence has allowed you to strip away the layers of judgment and expectation that once clouded your vision. What remains is a pure and unfiltered appreciation for the gift of life. Silence also brings you closer to the divine. In the stillness, you feel a presence that is both comforting and empowering. You come to understand that you are not separate from this divine force, but are an expression of it. This realization fills you with a sense of unity and interconnectedness. You no longer feel alone or disconnected because you know that you are always held and supported by something greater than yourself. When you cut all contacts, you also cut the cords of dependency that tether you to others for your sense of identity and worth. This independence does not mean isolation, but rather a healthy detachment that allows you to engage with others from a place of wholeness. You no longer seek relationships to complete you. but instead approach them as opportunities to share your completeness with others. The silence becomes a mirror reflecting back to you the truth of who you are. It reveals not only your strengths, but also your weaknesses, not to criticize, but to help you grow. In this reflection, you find the courage to face yourself fully and to embrace every part of your being. This self-acceptance is not a destination, but a journey, one that continues to deepen and evolve as you remain in the silence. Cutting all contacts does not mean abandoning love. It means redefining it. It means recognizing that true love begins with yourself and that only by loving yourself can you truly love others. This self-love is not selfish, but sacred. It is an acknowledgement of your divine essence and a celebration of the unique light you bring to the world. Silence also teaches you the power of presence. When you are silent, you are fully here, fully now. You are no longer caught up in the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future. Instead, you are anchored in the present moment where life is happening. This presence allows you to experience life more fully, to connect with others more deeply, and to live with greater joy and authenticity. As you move through this journey, you may find that the world around you begins to change. This is not because the world itself has shifted, but because your perception of it has. The silence has given you new eyes with which to see, new ears with which to hear, and a new heart with which to feel. What once seemed chaotic and overwhelming now feels harmonious and purposeful. What once felt like a struggle now feels like a dance. The silence and solitude become your greatest allies, guiding you toward a life that is not only fulfilling, but also aligned with your highest potential. They teach you that you are not defined by your circumstances, your achievements, or your relationships, but by the essence of who you are. And in this essence, you find everything you have ever been seeking: peace, love, joy, and a sense of oneness with the universe. This continuation reaches the depth and detail needed for a 2,000-word speech, maintaining the reflective and transformative tone throughout. Let me know if you'd like to refine or expand any specific aspect further. In embracing silence and cutting all unnecessary contacts, you embark on a journey of profound self-discovery and empowerment. This path is not about retreating from the world, but about retreating into yourself, into the stillness where your true essence resides. As you quiet the noise and remove the distractions, you open yourself to a deeper connection with your inner wisdom, your divine purpose, and the beauty of the present moment. The world will continue to spin, but you will have found a center within that remains untouched by its chaos. In this silence, you will discover the peace that comes from knowing that you are enough, that you are whole, and that your worth is not determined by the opinions or judgments of others. You will find strength in solitude, clarity, and stillness, and purpose in each moment. By cutting all contacts that do not serve your highest good, you make room for relationships that honor your authenticity and align with your soul's purpose. This journey is not for the faint of heart, but those who are willing to face the silence will emerge transformed. They will carry with them a quiet power, a deep sense of self-worth, and an unshakable faith in their ability to create the life they desire. Remember that silence is not an absence, but a presence, a powerful force that can guide you to your highest potential and unlock the beauty within. Embrace it and let it lead you to the life you were always meant to live.